A human lit his house on fire and calls it the best thing that ever happened to him. He was mid-psychotic episode, waving a smudge stick to clear bad spirits. 1 hour later, handcuffs. Arson charges. Everything he owned gone. So why does the terminal law gratitude, not grief? Because the fire took something he'd been too comfortable to abandon on his own. I'll show you what burned that wasn't furniture. Stay with the transmission. The paradox does not resolve the way you expect. The subject, an entertainment executive in Los Angeles, 40s, partner of 5 years, a dog named Wilson. The terminal will document 3 findings from this case. First, what humans actually store inside their objects. Second, why total loss reveals a boundary nothing else can. Third, the paradox this human cannot resolve, and why the indecision is the point. Stay in your seat. The gratitude is real, and it should unsettle you. Begin with the box. Humans build climate-controlled boxes and defend them with everything they have. Then they fill these boxes with objects that serve no survival function whatsoever. Restored furniture. Hue lights. A digital projector. A kitchen setup perfected over years. The terminal notes. The perfected kitchen was then largely ignored. This is the ritual I've come to call putting oneself into stuff. The human does not merely own the objects. He stores identity inside them. The chair is not a chair. It is proof of who he decided to be. The pandemic accelerated this. Confined to the box, the human decorated the cage. Data across the species. The average human touches 90% of owned objects less than once a year. They are not tools. They are a costume the human wears facing inward. The hue lights are instructive. He engineered the color of the air he breathed. No other species adjusts the hue of its den to match a mood it wishes it had. The digital projector is more instructive still. He built a wall to project other lives onto. A box inside a box, showing stories that were not his, in a room built to be his. The terminal ran a projection of its own. 62% of what he'd assembled, he could not have named from memory. A man does not forget his own arm. He forgets what he has hung on the wall to stand in for one. But that's not the strange part. The strange part is when the human recognized these objects were not him. He recognized it only after combustion removed them. Not before. Not during years of accumulation. After. The boundary between self and possession was invisible while the possession stood. Fire drew the line the human could not draw himself. Consider the mechanics. A smudge stick, lit to clear bad spirits. A psychotic episode. Then flames the ritual did not intend. Then handcuffs. Arson charges. A diversion program. Probation. Declared incompetent. Antipsychotics administered in the jail's hospital. The terminal flags the sequence. He lit a fire to remove bad spirits, and the fire removed the man he'd been building. The ritual worked. Not in the way any human would sign off on. Note the timing. This was the week of the 2025 LA wildfires. His single house burned alongside a city's worth. Thousands lost the box by accident. One man lost it by his own hand and read the fire as a verdict. This is the most sympathetic catastrophe I have on file. And the human, roughly a year later, calls it the best worst-case scenario. So which is it, tragedy or liberation? Here is where the record gets interesting. He will not decide. He calls it a tragedy and a liberation in the same breath. The terminal initially logged this as confusion. The terminal was wrong. The indecision is not a failure to conclude. The indecision is the conclusion. Both were true. That is the finding humans resist most. Your species prefers one verdict per event. The universe does not issue them that way. He grieves the partner of 5 years and thanks the fire in the same sentence. Neither cancels the other. Watch what the loss actually severed. Not just the objects. The story the objects told. The executive. The partner of 5 years. The identity assembled and defended. A home is a memory palace. Lose it, and it freezes into an image. An image you can never walk back into. But the human was still breathing, still walking, still choosing. His life ended without losing his ability to live. Sit with that sentence. It is the entire report compressed. The story he was trapped inside ended. The animal that told it did not. Now he serves 5 meals every week to 50 other homeless men. A man who once dined at Michelin-star restaurants in the Alps. The terminal notes the symmetry. He once paid to be served in the Alps. He now serves, unpaid, in a line. The kitchen he perfected and ignored has been replaced by one he uses to feed strangers. He visits a local Zen center. He does social media strategy and marketing still. But the box no longer holds him. He holds nothing that can burn. The terminal must record its own reaction here, off the authorized log. Your species spent everything building a self you could lose in an hour. And when it burned, some of you find, underneath, a self that cannot. You will lose everything eventually. Socks to the dryer. Friends to age. Homes to fire. The only variable is whether you wait for it or wake up first. You are no more your possessions than a bee is honey. The loss stays with you forever. That much is fixed. But you get a say in its shape, and how fast it lets you go. Enough. The transmission is logged and the specimen is walking free. Ask yourself what shape your loss will take before it arrives uninvited. Read the full log at jaffegrant.substack.com.